Welcome back to my podcast. My name is Justina, and today I want to talk about feeling that often appears quietly but can feel overwhelming when it stays too long. Feeling lost, feeling disconnected from yourself, unsure of who you are, where you are going, or what you actually want. If you've ever thought, I don't recognize myself anymore, or I feel stuck in my directionless, this episode is for you. So take a deep breath and let's begin. So, feeling lost doesn't mean you failed. It usually means something inside you has shifted. Feeling lost can look like lacking motivation, questioning your choices, feeling disconnected from your identity, feeling unsure about your direction, or feeling restless but not knowing why. Often it's not that you don't know anything, it's that what used to guide you no longer does. And that can feel unsettling. We often feel lost after change in relationships, careers, priorities, identity, beliefs. Sometimes we've been living according to expectations, ours or others, and eventually that version of life stops feeling true. So the old map no longer works, and before a new one appears, there's confusion. Feeling lost isn't a sign that something is wrong, it's a sign that something is being questioned. Feeling lost can show up quietly. It can sound like, I don't know what I want anymore. Nothing feels right. I feel behind. I feel disconnected from myself. You may keep functioning, working, socializing, showing up, but inside something feels missing. That inner disconnection is often what hurts the most. When we ignore feeling lost, we often try to distract ourselves from it. But over time, that disconnection can turn into numbness, frustration, anxiety, self doubt, or emotional exhaustion. Not because you're incapable, but because you're living without alignment. Feeling lost isn't a problem, staying disconnected from yourself is. Finding yourself isn't about becoming someone new. It's about connecting with who you already are. So slow down and listen. Clarity doesn't come from rushing, it comes from space. Your confusion is often information, not something to avoid. Let go of who you should be. Feeling lost often means an old identity no longer fits. Release the pressure to have it all figured out. You're allowed to evolve. Reconnect with what feels true. Pay attention to what brings calm, curiosity, energy, and relief. These are signals pointing you back to yourself. Allow yourself to be in the in between. You don't need answers immediately. This phase isn't wasted time, it's integration. Choose one small act of alignment. You don't find yourself all at once. You find yourself through small, honest choices, one step at a time. As you reconnect yourself, clarity returns, your confidence softens but deepens, decisions feel less forced, life feels more intentional. You stop searching everywhere outside of yourself and start listening inward. That's when direction begins to form. So if you feel lost right now, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're between versions of yourself. The old no longer fits, the new isn't fully clear yet. And that space, as uncomfortable as it feels, is where real self discovery begins. You don't need to rush this, you only need to stay honest. And like always, I have three journal questions for you to write down and answer them whenever you can. and keep them safe. They're just for yourself. So, the first question is, when did I start feeling lost? The second question is, what no longer feels aligned in my life? And the last question is, what might this phase be inviting me to change? So, like I said, just write them down and answer them whenever you have time. And I, of course, have the action steps for this week. So, create quiet time without distractions. So, it's kind of like the action step from last week. So, just spend time with yourself doing something you enjoy, but without any distractions around you. Turn off any music, TV, your phone, just put it on silent and just spend time doing something you enjoy in peace. I also want you to ask daily, what do I need today? So that's exactly what we had last week. And I also have the usual affirmation for you. And just write it down in your journal where you write the questions. And the affirmation is, I trust myself to find my way. So, as we come to the end of today's episode, I want you to remember this. Feeling lost isn't the end of your journey, it's often the beginning of a more honest one. You're allowed to question, you're allowed to change, you're allowed to take your time finding yourself again. Thank you for being here. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who may need it. And don't forget to say hi on my Instagram at positive.mindset.adventures. And thank you for listening once again. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your inner voice, and keep choosing what feels true. Thank you, see you, and bye.